So note that in example number 1, your differential equation was of order 3 and the f of d you got as d cube minus 3d square plus 5d minus 2. So I want you to note that f of d looks like a polynomial of degree 3. In example number 2, your differential equation was of order 2 and f of d looks like a polynomial in d of degree 2. Again, in example 3, your differential equation was of order 3 and your f of d is a polynomial in d of degree 3. So this is a very important observation that we have made here, and it will help us to solve the differential equation. Okay, now let's see how to solve it. Alright. Okay, now look at this. Working rule to solve f of d acting on y is equal to capital X. So I don't say f of d into y. The right thing is f of d acting on y is equal to capital X. Okay. Now to solve this, you have to solve the associated homogeneous LDE with CC. It's nothing but linear differential equation with constant coefficient. Okay. Now the working rule to solve this particular thing will be given separately. I'll give it to you. Okay. Now the solution of this equation, the homogeneous equation. Now what is homogeneous equation? When you put capital X as 0, what you get is called the homogeneous equation. Okay. So the solution of this equation is called the complementary function and is denoted by YC. Okay. So there is one particular working rule to find YC. Now once you find YC, you have to find something called as a particular integral or a particular solution. Okay. Which I'm going to denote by YP. YP is your particular integral. YC is your complementary function. There is a working rule for that. YP is a particular integral. There is another working rule for that. Okay. Now there are three methods to find YP. One is the general method, which is not very popular. Then you have the shortcut methods, which is very popular and it is our first choice. And then the method of variation of parameters. Now when do we use which method? We try to avoid the general method because it's lengthy. Our first choice is the shortcut method, but sometimes the shortcut method is not applicable. Now, when the shortcut method is not applicable, we will choose the variation of parameters method. Okay, so to summarize, the easiest method and the first choice is shortcut method. The second choice, that is when the shortcut method does not work, is variation of parameters method. And the last choice, when none of these two methods work, is the general method. If you look at the questions that are asked in the exam, you'll see that most of the questions can be solved either using the shortcut method or the variation of parameters method. However, in my notes, you have one question which is solved using the general method as well. Okay, so step 1 is find YC, step 2 is find YP using the method which is appropriate for that question, and the last step is the general solution. Y of X is nothing but YC plus YP. So in this entire unit, at least the first part of the unit will deal with finding the solution of this differential equation, which is Y, which is equal to YC plus YP.